I am John, the Liquidator, and this is the Liquidator Report. So it looked like Max Kellerman is breaking his silence about his time with Stephen A. Smith over at ESPN. Now, Stephen A. Smith has been finding himself in the headlines as of recently, man, over political things and definitely the current status of ESPN. Now, we know Molly Quinn left the company a few months ago. That made waves through the sports world, and I'm here to tell you, we had other guys as well speaking out about actually ESPN's telling reporters that they wasn't black enough or the black people really didn't like them. But with that being said, we ain't going to waste no time. We're going to jump right into this one, man. I hope you guys is having a great day. Like the video, hype the video. This is our very first episode of the Liquidator Report. This is something new that I will be launching. This is a brand new channel, and we're going to cover everything. When I tell you everything, we're going to cover everything. Now, this article was released by Outkick about an hour ago, man. It stated Max Kellerman is exactly right about Stephen A. Smith. Now, 4.5 years ago, ESPN removed Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith full-time debate partner until this Tuesday. Kellerman had never addressed the exit. So I never knew that Max Kellerman actually never spoke about his time with Stephen A. Smith and his time actually leaving the show. That's something that we never heard about. So this is quite interesting in itself that he's going this far now, 4 years later, to break his silence about his time with Stephen A. Smith. Now, it goes on to say on August 18th of that year, we reported that Smith had pushing for Kellerman removal. So a lot of people were saying that Stephen A. Smith actually wanted Max Kellerman gone for at least 3 years. We cited sources who said Smith's issue was that Kellerman didn't deliver the hot takes that allowed Smith to react theatrically. Now, we know in the media game, you got to be a little, charismatic, a little theatrical in a sense. Even I do it, y'all. If you guys see me on all my other channels, like I shake the haters off, the whole little theatrics that I do is looking spooky. Those are different things to kind of sell the content. Now, Stephen A. Smith, for him to say he needed Matt Smith to help him sell it is crazy in itself. Why would you need somebody to help you sell your content or help you be theatrical? I don't know, man, but Outkick goes on to say Smith initially denied our report on New York radio, calling it an absolute lie. So Stephen A. Smith actually went publicly and denied that he did not want him gone. Now, guess what? Max Kellerman spoke with Ben Simmons about this whole thing with him leaving Stephen A. Smith. Let's listen to some of it.
Be talked about, but not be able to talk.
That doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
You're talking about me like I'm not sweating anybody like that. But I was very flattered that, because if you go off the air, you're not sure that the sports world would care, right? But people seem to care. I was like, oh, look at that. People are thinking about me. I was very flattered by it, to tell you the truth. And in terms of the stuff that went down behind the scenes, there were things said to me in private that early on that it's not like anyone said to me, hey, this is top secret, don't repeat this. But I think there's a general understanding that if someone's talking to you in private, it's a private conversation. And I wouldn't repeat that unless they said it was okay to repeat what they told me.
Yeah.
So that's what I could tell you about, like the behind the scenes stuff on First Take, for example. But in terms I'm really not worried about that stuff,
But so Stephen A., you're in a relationship with where you're doing a show together for how many years? 4?
5.
5 years. You're with this dude every day. Seeing him in the mornings, commercial breaks.
I didn't even know he was on there for 5 years. Damn. 5 years he was on there. Wow.
You're hanging out.
Sure.
And then the show ends, or the show ends with you and he moves on with other people. And then, and I should say I like Stephen A. and I've always gotten along with him. I didn't love how he handled the aftermath of you leaving, whereas basically I told you the show would be better. I just thought, because I think you're really talented. You and I have known each other for a while. Whether it meshed as a show perfectly, I don't know the answer to that, but I just didn't think that was the right way to handle it.
If you're doing a debate show and you're a competitive person,
yeah,
why would you want me as a partner? That's bad. You want to go 15 rounds every day with Muhammad Kellerman? That's just bad. You know, it's embarrassing, you know.
So you think that was part of it? He didn't want to put the time in? Or like just want a different type of show? What's your take looking back 2 years later?
I don't think it has to do with put the time in. It's, you know, it's a debate show.
You're ready to roll on all topics.
You want to like if you're, I have an idea. This is what I want to put on TV. I want to spar Bud Crawford every day for 15 rounds, and I want everyone to see it. Eventually, you're going to say, I don't want to do that anymore.
And you bring in some other people in a rotating cast.
Yeah. I mean, that's one aspect of it. There are others. In other words, that's what I could tell you from my point of view.
Yeah.
And I also think that if you make a calculation that if you can be perceived as a solo act, really, that you can get paid at a certain level that you can't if you're not a solo act, then you'd like to be a solo act, or at least perceived that way.
Well, so like Mike and the Mad Dog are a good example of a show where it was the two of them together for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, whatever happened. Mike got his own show and he stayed on top for
Do you know who was supposed
6,
to be?
7
Do you know
years.
who he wanted to be in
Did you
Mad
get the
Dog's
call?
new position? Oh, yeah, that was the plan. I was supposed to go over and work with Mike, yeah.
Interesting. Because I got the call. Who else got the call?
I don't know, but we had like come to an understanding.
So you're going to leave ESPN and do it?
I did leave ESPN.
But not to do a show with Mike.
Yeah.
You did the show with Mike?
No.
So what happened?
I think, again, my interpretation of what happened, my analysis is, I think he realized at a certain point, they're not going to make me take a partner. Why should I take a partner? Because I'm beating the hell out of the guys across town.
Let's read some more of this article here. It stated, according to Max Kellerman, the rotation was intentional. He stated, I also think that if you calculate that being perceived as a solo act, that means that you can't get paid. Now, that's what we just heard. And then we also know Smith eventually got paid as a solo act in May. He signed a 5-year, $100 million extension, which that's the one that caused the red flags everywhere. A lot of people feel like that's why Molly Quinn left, was because of Stephen A. Massive deal, because no disrespect to Molly, but she was just a referee, basically. Like, Stephen A. sold the show. I think we all could agree on that. Like, his takes, the way he went about things, that ultimately is what put First Take like where is that? Hence how when Shannon Sharp left Undisputed ultimately left because he made the show. So it's definitely that type of scenario, but that's crazy that Max Kellerman's saying that, though. It is crazy. Now, the article goes on to say, ultimately, two things are true. Stephen A. Smith won in the short term, and Kellerman is right about Smith is insecure and prefers to surround himself with intellectual lightweights. This is consistent with Jason Whitlock reporting on Smith as well. Now, Jason Whitlock, shout out to him. I've been on his show several times. That's the homeboy. It's very interesting to see the notion that Stephen A. Smith actually pushed Max Kellerman out because he didn't want to debate with him and he wanted more money. Pretty much he wanted to be paid like a superstar. And that's ultimately what happened for Max Kellerman. I mean, not Max, for Stephen A. But the next saga is, why is so many people speaking out about Steve? What is about to happen, bro? Because Stephen A. Smith has been finding himself in the headlines. He's been finding himself in a bunch of drama, bro. Whole lot of drama right now. I just want to know what is cooking, because it's a lot of people coming out the woodworks. Speaking about Stephen A. Smith, I want to know you guys' thoughts down in the comment section right now about this video. I am John the Liquidator. This has been another episode of the Liquidator Report. And until next time, peace out.